guys, Imani here back with another video. So I've been extremely busy. I kind of deleted, well not deleted, but put a lot of my videos on private because it's just been a lot going on for me. I am in my I just completed my my 1 out of 3 semesters of field placement. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 2 more semesters to go and your girl is out of here. I'm graduating in December. I'm so excited. Now, I don't know if you all have seen previous videos, but I talked about I am currently in an MSW program. MSW is Master's in Social Work. My bachelor's degree is in biology, pre-med. Yeah, so 2 completely different fields for the most part, kind of, sort of, but it's similar in certain parts as well. Yeah, but no, but I just completed my first semester of field placement. And this video, I'm just basically going to tell you guys what I learned in my first semester of field placement as somebody who is not currently a social worker and someone who kind of went in like not knowing how this is going to go and kind of like, I wouldn't say blindsided, but just kind of like, oh my gosh, is this real? That's how I felt. Like, is this real? Is this society? Like, is this how people handle people who are in dire need? Or is this just Vegas? Maybe it's just Vegas. No, but okay, for real. So I just completed my first semester in my field placement. I can't tell you guys too many details on what I do and where my field placement is, but the population that I'm working with is very, 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 very in like crisis and need, and really much requires someone who truly has empathy, someone who is not biased, and someone who is client-centered. Now, what I learned in my field placement is that of course we know everybody that you work with is not going to be a social worker. I didn't know that, honestly. I promise you I did not know that. I thought everybody that is at our field placement, everybody in the organization, I thought like everybody who worked as case managers were going to be social workers. Like, I had no idea that I would be working with people with completely different degrees and completely different mindsets as far as how they want to assist these clients as their case manager. Like, I was not expecting that. I was kind of blindsided. Like, I thought everybody was going to go in here with a client-based, client-centered approach, listening to their clients, not making fun of their clients after they leave. Like, child, like, oh, yeah, that's what I expected. I expected for everyone to kind of be like, yeah, I really hate that so-and-so is going through this. Let's figure out ways. Let's team up, you guys. Let's figure out ways to better this situation. Let's hold activities. Let's hold programs to promote unity for people who are experiencing the same thing. Let's try to get our people back on their feet. Let's, be that go-to person. But in reality, some people are really in this work just for the moolah and just for a paycheck. And it really does suck. I promise you it sucks. And it's crazy because clients say it as well. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, they're going to talk about you when you leave. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But something else that I also learned is that, like, you're very limited with what you can do, especially if your city isn't really into helping those who are in need, then you're very much limited. I didn't realize the homeless shelters that we have here in Las Vegas had so many restrictions, and they only have like so much availability. Like, I've always been very much aware of the homeless population, the homeless situation here in Las Vegas. I think we're ranked like number 3 or 4 in the US, but I never took into account, like, I never knew that it was like that as far as like trying to help clients get into a shelter, get assistance. Like I did not know that aspect of how bad it really is here in Las Vegas. I don't know how it is in other states, but that was really eye-opening. And it makes me wonder, like, because I'm interning for a nonprofit organization, but then it makes me like wonder why a lot of nonprofit organizations use outside sources instead of trying to develop their own shelters, develop their own resources so that they don't have to constantly seek outside resources. But then I know that with the organization that I am interning with, they have to get grants just to be funded. They have to get grants just for employees to get a paycheck. So, I mean, I get it. I really do get it. And I know a lot of these organizations are in debt. But my thing is like, why aren't there more government agencies that do the same thing that these nonprofit agencies do? Like, before I even got into social work, I've always had the mindset of wanting to help people better their situation, providing them education through liberation. I learned that, y'all. Don't judge. No, but education through liberation. So providing them education as well as providing them the resources in which they need to better their situation. Now, I feel like if the organization that I am interning with, if they had their own like shelters, their own like resources as far as assisting the clients, I feel like things would be a little bit better. Just like listening to what the client's needs are and then what we do, it's kind of like we just use a lot of outside sources. Like I get you have to use outside sources to get the client's ID for them, social security card, food stamps, stuff like that. But I think like sometimes like organizations should also like hold their own internal drives so that they can provide like food for these families, or like, you know, partner up with like a farm within the city so that they're able to give these people stuff that they really need. Excuse me. Like, I don't know. It's just this first semester, it's really just eye-opening at the limitations. And then I'm assuming it's like them being tired, like the directors and people within organizations being tired of advocating, but there's like really a lack of advocating for policies being changed or advocating for more for these people. Like, it just really makes me wonder, like, what do people really go into these fields to do? Which another part of something that I learned is that not everybody within the organization is a social worker. So you have a whole entire nonprofit organization. The person that is over the entire like organization, she is a MSW. And then as the organization branches out, like case managers, media managers, of course you need people within organizations to hold different titles, and they don't have to be social work degrees, of course, duh. But as far as case management goes, when it comes to specific fields like that I'm in, I feel like as far as case management goes, it should be social workers, people who are fighting for social justices, people who are advocating for social justices for other people. But in the case of my internship, that's not the case. You have people with backgrounds in psychology, you have people with backgrounds in criminal justice, you have people with backgrounds in criminology, and we're working with people who have negative views of police. We have people who have certain views on different things, and it's just it's mind-blowing to me. It's really mind-blowing to me, extremely mind-blowing. But it's like, it's kind of hard for an organization to progress when you don't have so many people in an organization with the same idea and the same mindset as others. Like, you have people who are genuinely advocating for people, and then you have people who are genuinely just trying to get paid and go home so they can feed their families, which I understand. I respect having to get paid, get that check, and take care of home. I get it, especially as an intern and like not really having as much work as I used to have. I had a whole 9-to-5 job. Now I'm working part-time, looking for another part-time job because life is crazy. But that's a topic for another day. But yeah, really, this is just everything that I really like grasped and got based off of my first semester as an intern. Also, what I realized as my first semester as an intern, especially if you don't have a background in social work, you are going to go in there kind of like, oh, remember everything you learned, remember what I taught you, my son. Like, you really have to like remember everything you learned. Remember all those articles where where we read about like how minorities are treated within certain communities. Now, one thing about me is the reason why I chose social work as a field that I'm interested in is because of my own personal background and my own experiences in life. Something that I have that can't be taught to others is empathy and sympathy for other people and their situations and their stories, their journeys, and the thing that they experience. I kind of can relate or can connect to a lot of the clients because I've experienced a lot of that. I've experienced not having a mom growing up. I've experienced coming from a family full of like crime and violence and all that stuff. I grew up on welfare, food stamps, all that stuff. I've been there, done that. So as far as like understanding, I get it. I really genuinely do. And I know a lot of people within the organization that work within the organization, they haven't been there or never. Some people have, but some people really genuinely grew up with like a silver spoon, and there's completely nothing wrong with that. And I think a part of the reason why social workers are needed is because people who had the opportunity or the ability to go to college and want to help others, it's good for them to get into the field and genuinely want to help others. Like, if you genuinely have the mindset and the idea to want to help others and you are able to, then go for it. But I feel like people shouldn't go into the field of social work or go into the field of any type of helping or field of service with the idea of just seeking a paycheck. You know what I mean? Because honestly, the amount of money that this organization pays is, I'm not gonna say it's not enough, but it's nothing compared to something you could get elsewhere. Like, you have to genuinely have the heart, the mind, and the drive to actually want to advocate for individuals to want to be within this particular field. And me personally, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I have the heart. I found myself crying one time after leaving my internship because I really genuinely wanted to help someone, but I was kind of like told, well, this is that and this is that, and you can't do this and you can't do that because we feel like this and we feel like that. And in my mind, I was like, well, you aren't advocating for this person enough. You're not pushing to get all the resources that you can get enough, for this person. Like, man. But I know I've also heard that if you go into the field like that, ready to like tackle everything, you're gonna experience burnout because not everybody has that same mindset. Not everybody has that same idea of what they want to do for other individuals. So passionate about certain issues and certain topics. And I know within certain spaces, I'm not allowed to express myself and voice my opinion, which is, I love YouTube, you guys, because I'm able to do that. But in person, I have a hard time expressing my opinions and voicing. And even in class, I have a hard time doing it, which I have to get out of. But when I am like one-on-one with clients, it's easy for me to talk to clients. But like if it's like me and a field instructor and like a whole bunch of people around, I do kind of get nervous. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But I am able to relate to the individuals and the population in which I'm trying to serve. But yeah, but that's really it that I learned this semester. I have 2 more semesters to go. I'm excited to graduate. I'm excited to really dive into the field of social work. I'm ready. I'm really ready to just start a career doing something that I'm passionate about and always have been passionate about. Always been passionate about creating programs, doing things from, as a resident assistant, doing programs for my residents, and as a sorority vice president, creating programs for the organization. Like, this is something that is just me. It's my passion. I love people. I love helping people. So that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna try to make more videos maybe, but right now I'm on my like summer break, And next semester is summer semester, which means it's like cut short. So everything else is gonna be like, it's literally gonna be rapid speed. So I don't know if I'm gonna have time to even like sit down and make a video. Like I have work tonight, so this is what I'm doing right before work. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you guys next time. Bye.